welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we have a very special one. We are at Sema. Everyone's just outside at the moment, waiting to go inside for the halls to open up. So we're just going to check out some cars outside, head inside, meet some of the companies obviously supply products for, and also check out some of the cool cars. So let's get stuck into it. So something that we spotted immediately is this amazing 901 GT3 RS. So it's got a few special bits and pieces going on here. So if we start off on the front end of the car, got the CSF, PWR and Cobra like front bonnet bumper conversion. So done away with the side radiators, I believe. Just like the race cars, like the GT3 RS, it's got the radiator in the bonnet there. Also looks like it's running the GT3 style wing mirrors. It's got some Advan GTs on there, which look absolutely nuts on these, as well as obviously AP Pro 5000Rs. Interior wise, it's got half cage, bigger spoiler on there with a swan neck as well. A few Dundon Motorsport Emotion Engineering stickers on this, so I guess it was built by those guys as well.
So these mirrors and this front hood scoop is made by Cobra, who had the 2002 at the CSF event that we saw.
Yep.
So it links together nice.
So we just stopped off at the CSF booth. They've got two incredible builds behind us.
All right, so EK with two Tesla motors. So it's Played motors, so they're like 1,000 horsepower, something nuts. So basically, Raiwai's built this to play on the theme of like a drag Civic. So you see lots of K20 turbo four-wheel drive Civics, so 1,000 horsepower, whatever. This one's similar, but it's got electric motors in it.
So it's a Tesla Played motor, isn't it?
Yep.
So you've got essentially like the gearbox, the transmission, everything all in that tiny little unit.
Wavetrac inside there.
Yeah, Wavetrac inside. So Wavetrac do the all of the Tesla applications. You got the CSF radiator on there, as well as the AC condenser as well. So that keeps all the fluid going into the obviously the motor, the transmission, and also the inverter nice and cool as well.
So this is actually the original Raiwai radiator they made for like K-swapped cars. So it's got the adjustable fittings on the end, so you can change them for either AN fittings. They've used Wiggins on this, but that radiator was probably one of the first things that CSF and Raiwai did together about 15 years ago. So it's really nice to see it in this build.
And AM's doing some really nice integrations with the electric stuff as well. So you've got like all of the drive modes, sort of like the traction control. You have the display, which replaces the original dash as well. And then you've got the batteries just snugly in the back of the car, just that. It's obviously a really stylish build as well. So on the outside, you wouldn't really know that it didn't have a petrol engine in it. Obviously no exhaust pipe on the rear.
So underneath, the cradle was all fabricated out of sheet steel. I don't know if you can see it, but it's all basically reversible. So if Ryan wants to go back to, apart from the floor being cut, the subframes and bits and bobs can all be removed. You can go back to normal EK suspension if you want to, and off you go. So super clean build, amazing paintwork. Lots of the trims, rubbers, bits and bobs are all brand new. So
it's looking super
crazy.
Fresh. And then we have the Evolve 1 Series. Obviously it had a S65 in it. They've put a P65 in it now.
Yeah, so P65 is the race version. Obviously the S engine. So it's a 4.4 instead of the 4 litre. Obviously higher tolerances and stuff. So this actually raced in Japan in a M4. No, sorry, not M4.
It's Z4 GT3, yeah.
That's right, and it's a race-winning engine, which is crazy. So now it's in a street car. Imran and the boys will be driving this around Luton, which is pretty crazy.
It's obviously got the Venturi plenum on there, nice dry carbon, CSF cooling package as well, keeping it all nice and cool, and got a bunch of cool new products for this year as well that CSF's come out with. So we'll just head over here and have you a quick talk through. So coming out with some oil cooler kits this year. So we've got like a nice CSF like sandwich plate you've got there. This is a kit for the FL5 Civic Type R, I believe, so you can run like a dual setup on that.
So we've got brackets, lines, everything just ready to fit straight onto the car.
Yeah. And then this is for like a US like domestic application. It won't be coming over here, but it's really, really cool to see CSF jumping into doing all cooler kits. So obviously you've got a really, really broad range of all coolers.
Hey, check this out. So part of this development is they've got these new like snap-on quick connects. So literally pop it on and then come straight off. So gone are the days of trying to line up AN fittings, make your lines and stuff like that. Super easy.
Absolutely nightmare. And then R34 GTR radiator. So we've got the R32s, the R33s. Lots of people have been asking about R34s, especially in the UK. So that's a really cool product.
Everyone should recognise this beast.
Yeah, the level up manifold. And then a few other bits and pieces. So we've got like the 2002 radiator that's just been launched. It's available in black as well as silver. We have the 964 oil cooler as well as for the like 4-cylinder engine cases as well. Okay, so we are on our way to the AST Moton booth. So they've got some really, really cool products they're releasing this year. So dropping it at Sema, as well as a really, really cool 858 CSL inspired build, which we've just stumbled across now.
One-off V10 installation. Come and check out the engine bay actually. That's probably the best starting point. You can see there's tons of people crowded around it. The gentleman talking right now is the guy who built it at Rain Speed Shop. So stuffed in the nose of it, you can see a E60 M5 V10, which has had the capacity changed to 5.8 actually. So I'm not sure how much power it's got, but it's a lot. It's certainly a lot more than any A series would have had from the factory.
Yeah. And this whole thing's carbon fiber bodied as well.
Yeah, reason why it's on the stand, it's got the Moton 4-ways on it.
So you got the high and low speed compression on the canister, and then you have the high and low speed rebound on the damper body itself.
So all of the bodywork, you probably won't pick it up on the camera, but all the bodywork's carbon fiber. So this car was designed by John Sabal, and then from that, molds were made to make the bodywork, so widened bodywork, which is reminiscent of the, I think it was a V10, it was a red car. It's at the BMW museum. Any BMW fans might correct me on it, but I think it was a V12, and it had these sort of stepped out wheel arches anyway. So CSL type boot lid, and all of this is carbon fiber, which is absolutely insane. One-off tail lights, kind of a bit hot in the tail lights there.
Yeah, what have we got going on in the interior as well?
Interior is completely trimmed in leather, every single surface.
So you've got a lot of different things going on. Obviously you've got the iDrive, yeah. Modern dash as well as that.
That's the E60 dashboard.
In terms of products, obviously we've got all the core like AST products. We've got like the AST 3-way, so that is top mount on the front, on the rear of the car as well. You've got the rebound that's adjustable on the damper. You can't quite see it on there, well you can actually see that there. And then you've got the high and low speed compression, and then going down to 5100 series with top mount, without top mount, which doesn't have a remote reservoir.
The two's over here actually, chilling out of the way.
Two's there, and then we've got lowering springs as well. So AST ALS kits, so this is if you want to retain the standard damper and get the coilover adjustment on there, and then also AST is offering some top mounts to work with the factory style springs as well.
It's actually pretty unique to have. So if you've got a car which has electronic damping, but you want extra camber for a bit more grip, but you just want to keep the electronic damper to lower it with a spring, you can add the top mounts as well. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, adding negative camber is like key to increasing the grip. And we've got the lowering springs as well. But most interestingly for this year,
new stuff's
over on the Moton side of the stand, there's 2 or 3 really, really cool releases actually. So let's have a look at those now. You need your hand with this one, Ryan, to show it. So with the Moton, typically to have a 2-way, you need to have the remote reservoir. But then for this year, they have a
adjustment.
Double adjuster on a single damper. So instead of having a 2-way damper with a single adjuster on the top to do the rebound and then separately compression, what you're going to have is a double adjuster on here, so you pull it up to either do the compression or the rebound and vice versa. So you negate having to have this remote reservoir here, which obviously saves on cost. There's obviously a little bit of a performance difference between the two, but for the guys that want that adjustment, that's how you're going to be able to get it in a bit more of a value kind of package.
So you'll be on one side of the car as well. There's no getting above in the engine bay and maybe underneath if your reservoirs are mounted underneath. Depends where you put them, but super simple.
Yeah, so how it works as well is, so for the rebound like you usually have in here, you've got like an orifice valve and a needle valve. So that will change the the rebound of it. And then you have a preloaded compression stack here, which as you change the adjuster, this will preload the stack less or more. So that's how you get your adjustment in that. So that'll be coming through very, very soon. We've got the Moton control arm bearings here. So on sort of like your BMWs, like your F80, like M3s, your G chassis, your Supras, all that kind of stuff. So this bearing here, whenever you press the brakes, accelerate, you corner, this massive bush that you've got in here will deflect substantially as well. So the whole entire wheel is essentially...
Well, this one won't. The standard one does.
The standard one, yeah. So what this does is replaces that bush with a big CNC machined item with a spherical bearing in there as well that we actually use in the top mounts. So it's super durable, super silent, and we've also just got a bunch of these in stock as well.
So looking into the future a bit further, we've got electronic dampers on the way. So these will be customizable with settings, front, rear, and you can go through the whole range of damper adjustment. So you'll be able to sit in the cabin and do your adjustments from the comfort of the driver's seat, which is pretty cool.
Perfect.
Especially for cars that maybe don't have electronic damping, can be retrofittable into older cars as well. So you can have that dual on-road and track sort of performance.
There we go. And then obviously we've fitted a couple of these Moton kits already with the stance cups, but now Moton has actually come out with their own air cup kit. So a few sort of like differences to make it a little bit more durable, a little bit quicker, a little bit quieter to action as well. So very, very nice kit here as Ryan's sort of demonstrating. So that's it inflated, I think. And then that is it just deflating on there as well. So
lots of stuff going on for AST Moton.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a few suspension brands that used to always be at Sema that aren't here now as well. So it's interesting to see a brand like Moton still here and continuously bringing new developments to the suspension market.
Definitely.
And the other thing worth mentioning as well, although we don't list the four-ways, we can actually supply the four-ways, which is mainly sort of for motorsport use, but also for cars like this, it makes the ride quality much more tunable as well. But it is a very expensive way to do it.
We've got a lot of cars on AST Moton actually on display. There's another one on the Toyota booth that we'll show you. But yeah, we'll bring you through the rest of the show now.
Let's go check out some of those cars. We're just wandering through the halls and we just noticed a car that's just a little bit hidden away, but looks super sick. So we've got GT3 M2 on the Hoosier tyre stand. So they just launching their new track tyre here. And obviously it's got the Titan 7 TM20s on there in the cyber gold colour. It looks absolutely crazy on this build. It's a good looking tyre as well. Toyota, one of the brands, really embracing car modifications this year, and it's probably got one of the most extensively modified modern cars here, and it's right here in front of us. So it started off life as a GR86.
So it looks like that originally.
Yeah, just like this, which has got the fairly weak, I think it's 2.4 litre boxer engine.
Yep.
In it, which is what? I think it says on here, 228 horsepower. And then they've done a really crazy drivetrain swap. And by they, I mean Evasive Motorsports. So you see this engine here is no longer a boxer. And if you're familiar with the GR Yaris, it's the GR Corolla, which is sat over here, which has the same powertrain. And they literally took the engine, gearbox, rear axle, and popped it in here, as well as a load of other modifications as well.
Some of the older viewers might remember the Celica GT4s. That's kind of this concept. So the old World Rally cars are in the Castrol livery, had the lamp pods, very similar wheels. I think it was like the Carlos Sainz edition came with these wheels.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the ethos behind the build, and I think they've executed it like absolutely perfectly.
Yeah. So they have obviously the AST 3-ways on here. So you've got the high-low speed compression and the rebound on the bottom of the damper with the adjustable camber top mount there as well.
The machining on these, like the outlets for the reservoir, is amazing.
Very nice. And actually, AST is one of the only brands that's on here, other than Sparco, that's actually properly branded, which is quite cool to see. So interior-wise, we have Sparco steering wheel with a few cool little buttons on there. We've actually got a Cooler Works shifter. You can kind of see they've had to take the branding off of it. Fully stripped out inside, obviously.
AST canisters sat on the rear roll cage.
You've got this really cool double outlet in the rear.
Do you know where that's from?
Tell me, Ryan.
So that is reminiscent of the Tom's Supra,
okay.
wide body Supra. So anyone that's into Gran Turismo will probably recognize this back end.
There's so many different influences, and then you see, if I do that underneath the car as well, you can see this, it's got a lot of the components from the GR Corolla in there, obviously the AST dampers as well.
I didn't notice this first time round, but they've 3D printed blanks
for the exhaust outlets. Oh yeah, wow. It's a cool little detail.
Definitely.
The slogan's pretty cool over at the Toyota booth as well. Born on the racetrack, not in the boardroom.
They're definitely having some fun at Toyota.
100%. And you've got a few other modified cars here as well. Don't really know what's going on with that Supra, but I think we really need to bring the GR Corollas across to the UK. I think this would be strong competition to the like Mark 8s Golf Rs essentially. So what we got going on, right?
So these are all different variations on the new Land Cruiser. So I just launched the Heritage Edition, which looks like this, with the round lights rather than the square. Obviously in America they've got amazing landscapes to use these sorts of vehicles on, so it's a super popular way to modify cars. And I think Toyota have recognised it. So we've got some really old Land Cruisers as well. If you go left dash through the middle, you'll see one of the original. So FJ62 is one of those like iconic, indestructible, go anywhere machines. And it's really cool they bought one out that isn't fully restored. It's really nice. It's still got scrapes and scratches and a lifetime of use on it, which is really cool.
Something that we don't see any of over in the UK really is the FL5 Civic Type R builds, and that's something that over here we've seen quite a lot of at Sema, and this is an extensively modified one which we actually saw back at the CSF Sema preview. So you can see it's got a really crazy wrap on it. It's got different aftermarket suspension, it's got different wheels, it's got some nice Sparco seats on the interior. It's got some kind of like quick shifter in there, different steering wheel. Looks like, I'm not familiar with these cars too much, but it looks like it's obviously got a different rear wing, that's obvious. Rear diffuser, side skirts, and front lip on there as well. I wish more people tune these in the UK, because it's such a cool platform.
We saw this loading in yesterday actually. So this is a Bisimoto 935K with the wide body sort of Crema kit. So I spoke to Ravi about this actually, and it's got a lot of CSF product on it. But one of the most striking things is the big turbos hanging out the back. Also love the way they get the historic plates in California. There's quite a few of these popping up now, so electric ones, twin turbocharged ones, the one just behind you, Ash. I think this is a Lecky one. Let's have a look at the back.
It's got some kind of speed tail rear end on it as well. Quite cool.
Yeah, I think this is the one that has the Tesla drive unit in the back of it.
So I think you've actually driven this car in its previous form.
Originally grey and pink, and it had the Brixton forged wheels on it. So yeah, I've driven this car, and my God, is it fast. So it's completely silent and incredibly quick. One car here I want to show you, which isn't highly modified but is amazing, is this Lancia Delta Integrale Evo that's on the Tarok stand. So they're really going heavy into the Italian sort of thing. Obviously Italian company. It's just amazing. Perfect in every way.
We had a customer of one of these. It was in the special blue color.
Yep.
I had like his name on a plaque and all kinds of crazy stuff. Did aftermarket engine management, and oh my God, these things drive insanely.
The coolest thing about this is that they've actually color matched and material matched the interior of this car with the seats on the stand.
That is very
And if
cool.
that's not attention to detail, I don't know what is. That's so cool.
Very, very, very Italian.
I love it. So Tarek's are launching a bit of a rebrand with a little icon. So it's looking really fresh over here. It's really cool. So this is probably one of the most unusual and striking cars at the show. It's a 356 that has been used in a lot of the GP ice race campaigns and stuff. So it's got tracks on the back, skis on the front, and it's designed to be used on frozen riverbeds basically. It's pretty nuts. This is a really cool car as well, and it's got some hidden details that you probably would overlook, because aside from the stripes, it's a pretty normal looking 911. So it's an original BB, and BB were a tuning house from in the 80s that were really famed for making crazy graphics, incredible interiors. But this is actually a hybrid, so it has a drive unit between the gearbox and the engine. So conventional 6-port engine. It's not actually on throttle body, so not that conventional. But it's got an electronic drive unit in between, so it is a hybrid, which is wild.
Has like a push to pass curve system type.
Yeah, it says here that it's actually 550 horsepower, which is pretty wild. So still NA, so you get the NA sound, but 550 horsepower. So this is actually owned by the guy who owns Galpin Motors. So this is a bit of a passion project, I think. And you see what I mean about the interiors. Although this is retrimmed, it's very much in the style of BB, and they'd used like crazy materials, crazy colors. This is really cool. The wheels on this car are actually made by Titan 7, which is a nice little touch. So they're the split Fuchs wheels.
Following on from the theme of modified Hondas at Sema, we've just stumbled across the Honda Racing Corporation booth, which is absolutely colossal. Something you might notice that's a little bit familiar. We've got the Titan 7 TS5s fitted to this Honda Racing Corporation. Was it a Integra? Yeah, Integra Type S. So they brought back the Integra in the States, and this has, I think, a similar engine gearbox as what's in the Honda Civic Type R. So fully stripped out, as you'd expect. Motorsports steering wheel. You got the Motorsports seats in there as well. It actually looks like it might even have like a sequential gearbox or automatic gearbox of some description with the paddles on there.
It's actually an Acura.
Yeah, Acura, Honda, same thing really. You got the wild triple exit exhaust.
Another set of TS5s over here.
So this is the actual Type S, I think, that they've brought to market. His colour is wild. Yeah, so Titan 7 TS5s on factory Honda Racing cars.
Such a good looking car. If you look from the back, it's very reminiscent of the GC5.
It really is.
Let's head down here to the Wavetrac booth. They've got an overland sort of style 996, which they've kept dirty, which is really cool. I wonder if any more people have written on it though. We've had a couple of people drawing some stuff in the dirt, so let's check it out.
We've just got to the Wavetrac differentials booth, and now this particular car was dirty at the start of the show.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple too many phallic symbols have probably appeared in it across the last couple of days. People just can't help themselves.
Looks great in the green though.
It does.
It's really cool.
So this is a wrap, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is got front and rear Wavetrac differentials inside, Shieldman seats, roof rails. The owner has actually made his own off-road accessories, which is really cool. 4S originally, so the ideal platform to base an off-road vehicle on. So obviously it's been raised quite a bit. Off-road wheels and tyres.
Very, very, very large tyres on there. So actually the owner needs to do some custom radiator mounts on the front just to get the extra clearance on lock.
It's really tastefully done. It's really cool. See, last year we shot the FCP Euro Cayman, which was like a Dakar style car. So it looks like this sort of thing is really, really popular in the States. So I assume there'll be some in the UK pretty soon.
And obviously over to the Wavetrac differentials. Covered these so many times in our videos, but this is probably one of the only modifications you can do to your car that has no negative side effects apart from obviously costing you a little bit of money.
Yeah, they're really good upgrade for pretty much, well, the product range is into the hundreds, right?
Yeah, so we've got a couple of Porsche differentials. So PDK, got a front diff, which would be in this 996. It looks like we've got DQ500, which is like 7-speed DSG and like TTRS, RS3, stuff like that. I think this is a quick change. This is really quite how I know.
You're really testing yourself
applications.
Now.
Yeah, Ford 9-inch.
That's the G50 rear, isn't it?
G50, yeah. So that's what we'll be putting in our 996 turbos. Basically,
so I've got one of these already in the front of my car, but I'm missing the G50, so maybe I'll just take that. There's no one man in the stand right now.
Take it home. So what else we got? Got a couple of Honda applications. So I think this is the K20. Cool thing about the K20 option with Wavetrac is that you can bolt both. Well, you can use one diff, front wheel drive, and also all drive, because on these particular differentials you bolt both of the ring gears to it. So it looks.
So if you were to build a car 2-wheel drive, start to progress your build, and then opt for a 4-wheel drive, you don't have to buy another diff. You use the same one.
Exactly, and then a couple of other DSG differentials. And I think this is the new DQ381 differential, which is in 7-speed Mark 7 Golf Rs, and then some more Mercedes. So that's like the CC3 AMG differential.
I love the size difference between some of the bigger ones and some of the smaller ones.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Really a wide range that we can offer.
And then over here, Wavetrac are just showing that they do the ring gear machining. So if you're familiar with the BMW Wavetrac differentials, we do, these ring gears are actually friction welded to the original differential. So we have to basically cut the ring gear away to separate it from the differential. Then we drill it, tap it, and then we can bolt this this ring gear onto that differential. So yeah, Wavetrac boost, really, really cool. It's great to see these guys growing year on year. Let's see what else is at Sema. So we've just come through to the Toyo Treadpass, and this is where some of the best builds of Sema are. So let's go
check them out. So another Rywire build actually, and this is a single motor this time. So, and Ash can get this one right, it is an EG. So similar format on this one. Wavetrac in the, I guess you call it transaxle?
It is a drive unit, yeah.
Yeah,
so you haven't really got gears in there. It's more of just a differential, I think.
So this one's a little bit different inside as well. It's more of a standard street-ish interior. You've still got the AAM stuff. So instead of a gear stick though, on this one, you've got the drive select on the like power distribution module in the middle. T37s on this one. I think this is actually my favourite of the two, mainly because it is an EG, but the white with the grey wheels looks so cool. This one quite a lot yesterday because it's got a super interesting engine bay. So obviously CRX, but it's got 2 turbos on it. So this engine swaps V6 out of like a Legend, or kind of like the NSX, I guess. But yeah, super popular for drag racing. Normally you don't see them with 2 turbos though. So this is just the first 4 in the door at the Toyo Treadpass, and they're absolutely nuts. And I think they're getting even crazier as we go down. So this car is obviously an E30, but if you come and have a look at the engine bay, that's where the E30 stuff stops. So obviously you'll see the huge engine in there, but also notice that there's no frame rails or anything. This is a full tube chassis. So although the body panels are E30, the majority of the car is actually fabricated. And it's an owner-builder type thing as well. So the guy who owns it actually did all of the work on this car, which is crazy. See the radiator placement in the back?
It's crazy.
Ash was reeling off the part numbers of the CSF pass.
Yeah, right. I was like, oh, what radiator is that? I'm like 8023. Let's take a step across the hall.
Keep moving. We'll actually put an image of the render of this car in here as well, because it's literally the same. So this car was designed from sort of the render, the digital stage, and then it actually exists exactly the same in real life.
So going over to the other side of the hall, you've got some other really, really crazy cars.
I want to say this is Riviera Blue. I didn't actually notice first time round, Ash, but it's got a Targa roof on it, which pretty sure you couldn't get on a 903. So the interior is crazy.
There's definitely a theme going on with this car.
I want to say that the roof is from a 996. Looks very similar to a 996 Targa.
I think I saw someone post that it's got wow, it's a 992 light bar, is that?
No, I think that's an aftermarket part, but I think it's turboed, isn't it? No, not turboed. It's certainly an interesting back end of it. This is really similar to the Martini, like the first generation of like race cars. So the big turbo race cars had like a huge wing on the back of it. Pretty cool.
And then just next to it got this crazy McLaren SLR that's been, the roof's been chopped off.
Can you imagine doing this to an SLR?
Massive body kit on it, super wide wheels. I guess the interior looks like it's all been retrimmed as well.
The way they've done the domes for the front is really reminiscent of like old hot rod stuff. These sound incredible.
Yeah, absolutely nuts, especially with the exhaust.
Pipe straight out the side.
Just down the side. 5.5 litre V8s, I think, is supercharged. It's crazy how far the engine sits back, so it's kind of like a mid-front kind of setup on that.
I've never seen the hinges for the bonnet before. They're incredibly elaborate. Wow.
It's a hell of a hinge.
So these were made by McLaren in the first place, weren't they?
Assembled, yeah. I don't know the ins and outs of it, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure they came out of the McLaren factory in Woking. It's quite cool.
So I've never seen one of these in the flesh, but I've seen these quite a lot on Instagram. So this is Miles Works wide body, and it is enormously wide. Like when you look down the flanks of the car, you've basically got the whole wheel outside the original body line. This one's also got a really heavily revised interior. So gone is the 996 type layout, and this is much more reminiscent of like a 993 or even earlier 911. So carbon everything, carbon tunnel, carbon dash, and it's got those like 5/6 dial dash layout like the old 911s had. It's a really pretty car.
It's almost like a Carrera GT.
It's a little bit,
front
yeah.
end on that.
We've still got the standard vents, but you can see how far extra we've gone on the rear of the car.
It's insane.
We've got loads of other stuff. We've got Rolls Royce over there. We've got the Garage Active Carbon R33. We've seen that before at a couple of shows. Broncos
awesome, yeah.
Yeah, this is crazy.
When we were in SoCal, we saw so many of these.
Come and have a look at the interior.
Wow.
That's insane. Yeah, people go crazy for these, don't they? The level of restoration, the modification is insane.
Also got the all the baggage looks to be custom as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's so well done.
Petrol can, luggage. So many amazing details in it. Headliner as well.
What engine has it got inside it?
It's got some.
Is that a Mustang
It's a
engine?
5 litre, yeah, it's a Ford Mustang engine.
Guess
They
what
call it a Coyote or something.
Guess what the radiator is?
Is this CSF?
By a little logo.
Yeah, there's CSF on absolutely every decent build out
Pretty
there.
much, yeah. It's an AC Cobra. Wow, a Cobra type build with a Japanese engine. So, Skyline GTR, RB26.
It's got an RB26 there.
It's pretty unusual.
That's hilarious.
And I bet it's quite terrifying. So this is one for the Toyota nerds. There's a lot of really, really rowdy engine swaps, and this one is probably one of the rowdiest. So, Toyota Sentry V12 in Celica. You'll notice again a bit of CSF in there. But these were in the, they were V12s because they were smoother, so it's like a presidential car. Have a guess what dampers is on?
Motons?
Yeah. So we're not purposefully selecting these cars, it's just that some of the most interesting cars at the show are running with those products, which is really cool to see. You see down here the electric water pump for the engine. Super cool. I just caught the tag that's been altered to show you what's in the car. So it's got a ZF 8HP in it as well, which is pretty crazy. So that just about wraps up the day here. The sun's starting to go down. There's still lots of people running around looking at cars, but yeah, we're going to head out. We've got some meetings to do this evening. It's not a holiday, it's definitely work. But yeah, hopefully you've got a bit of a taste for the types of cars that are here at Sema. If there's any cars that you really love, let us know. What's your favourite car? My car is probably going to be that E36.
Yeah, there's definitely a load of really, really cool cars in the Treadpass. I think for me, the GT3 RS was probably my favourite. One of my
blue one.
favourites. Yeah, that was really cool. There's a few FL5s that were really, really cool as well, that you don't really see tuned in the UK. So to be honest, I don't really think I could pick
Century
a
engine Celica's probably, yeah, because you just don't see Century engines outside of Century, so that's a pretty cool one.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's all for this video. See you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching this video. If you haven't done already, then give us a thumbs up. If you want to watch some of our other videos that YouTube thinks you'll like, then click up here. If you want to watch some other videos in the same playlist, then click here. And if you haven't done already, then hit the subscribe button right here.